Hello and welcome to another manga spotlight. This is Geist X Revenant. I, a trash mob, evolved my Geist partner into a beautiful girl and made her the strongest. The best way I can describe this series is that it's Goblin propaganda. Goblin Slayer would not be a fan of this series. So, as you can probably guess by the long title, it is based off of a web novel. And let's read this premise here. I'll turn the tables on the main character. Yohei, a new student at a Geist user school, was bullied by his classmates because his Geist partner, a goblin by the name of Gobubi, was weak and ugly. However, one day he discovered a wiki and realized that he was living inside a game world, and his situation changed for the better. No more tears. Let's take revenge on the main character together. And there's more, but I'm not going to share it. And I'm actually going to blur this part out because it pretty much spoils the entire series. It is a terribly crafted summary because it just spoils everything. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I always leave a link to where you can read it down in the description below. So if you want to read the whole thing, you can. But I don't want to show it because, again, it not only spoils what has been translated already, it spoils chapters in the far future. That's how bad it is. So yeah, a lot of the second part of this description describes things that have not happened yet, or at least have not happened in the manga version. So because of that, I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, we have our main character. His name is Yohei, and this isn't necessarily a isekai, though it does share some qualities. Like, we don't have a hero who gets teleported into a different world. Nothing like that. Instead, we have a character who discovers that he's a trash mob NPC in a game world. So he just wakes up one day and he decides that he wants to check out if the classmates at his old school have been chatting about him, since he's now starting this new university. And so he types in his name and he finds information about himself that no one should know about. And that's how he discovers the wiki page for himself. And he realizes that he is a trash mob character who's basically the first one to get killed by the hero. Why the hero wants to kill him, we have no idea. It's not like he's an evil person. The school he goes to is not evil. There are bullies there, yeah, but it's not like a school for evil. So it's kind of confusing about why the hero wants to kill him, but the hero wants to kill him. And so he gets really upset about that. He was like super excited that he ended up becoming a Revenant. And I guess only certain people can become Revenants. So certain people can become Geist users. And Geists are basically summons. So everyone gets one summon. And not everyone can become a Geist user. And so because he's a Geist user, he ends up going to this school that's very prestigious. And he thought that, his old classmates would appreciate him and look up to him and stuff. But he realizes that not only is he a loser, but his Geist is a loser too. Because his Geist is a tiny female goblin who are considered the weakest creatures around. So yeah, he named her Gobubi, or Gobube, however you want to pronounce it. And yeah, her stats are absolute garbage. But the good thing about this hero is that he doesn't mistreat his Geist. He realizes that she's weak, and he's going to try to do his best to get stronger with her. So yeah, he goes to the academy where everyone is sharing what their summons are. And everyone summons like awesome summons. And when it comes to his turn, he summons his goblin, and everyone makes fun of him and laughs at him. And it's kind of sad because we just see the goblin being like very upset about people poking fun at her. And when it's time for everyone to share their stats on their summons, of course, someone shares Gobubi's stats and realizes that she's absolutely terrible. Her stats are just absolute garbage. And so people once again make fun of him, and he storms out of the class, goes home, locks himself in his room, and then he gets pissed off. And he turns to Gobubi, who's really upset. She is basically just absolutely... she's been embarrassed in front of everybody. And so he looks at her and he's like, do you want to become stronger? And of course she nods, and he's like, all right, we're going to get stronger together, and we're going to get back at them. And basically, he's going to get stronger by using the wiki. So not only is there a wiki of him, but there's a wiki of everybody. There's a wiki of the entire world. So he basically has a walkthrough guide of his entire world. And in this world, the school that he goes to, there's dungeons. And the dungeons are used for the students to go down in there and basically train up their Geist. But because he has the wiki to the dungeon, he knows what creatures are on what floor, where every single trap is, where the hidden treasures and hidden rooms and stuff are at. And he decides, you know what? I'm not going to share this information with anybody. I'm going to take Gobubi down there and we are going to basically cheat. And his idea of cheating is that there's basically this section on the first floor that leads to a dungeon that's supposed to be for New Game Plus users. For anyone who's not familiar with New Game Plus, it's basically like a mode after you beat the game. Not every game has this, but after you beat the game, sometimes there'll be a New Game Plus, which allows you to restart the game with all of your stats and equipments that you had when you beat the game. But everything's a lot tougher, but you also get bonus equipment and stuff. Or sometimes it's just starting the game off with something different. It's basically just a way to get people to play the game again. But in this world, this New Game Plus is this secret dungeon that is only located on the first floor. And it's supposed to be for users who are already like super leveled up. Like all the creatures there can kill you in one hit if you're just a low level, which Yohei is. But Yohei doesn't want to investigate the entire secret dungeon. He just wants this one little section that's in the beginning. And all you have to do is you just have to pass this one creature who's like this giant Valkyrie woman. And the thing is that because he has a wiki, he knows what her walking pattern is, her patrol pattern. So he just has to wait until she has her back turned to him. And then he grabs Gobubi, rushes across, and then there's this secret room. And there's a treasure chest that you can only unlock by stepping on a certain tile. But there's a cheat, there's a bug. And the bug is that if you put some kind of weight, like a rock, on the tile when you get your item and then leave with the rock still on the tile, the secret item will respawn every time you exit and enter the dungeon again. So what happens is the treasure is this little bead that basically when you eat it, it raises your agility a tiny bit. So what he decides to do is, okay, I can just basically farm this one item over and over and over and over again. And by doing this, I can turn Gobubi's E- agility into an S+ rank. And of course, that's just the first step. We got to do a lot more than just that. But this is like a good way to just cheese one of the abilities. And so it's basically just this journey of him cheesing this one ability and then just trying to get Gobubi's status to just improve. And along the way, he meets Sakuya, who is the student council president. She is also the daughter of the school's principal. And a lot of people aren't fans of her. They believe that the only reason she got the position as a student council president is because of her father and that she drove off the other former president. They also, I guess, poke fun at her Geist for being weak, but her Geist is actually super strong. So I don't know about like if that was like a translation error or if maybe it just used to be weak in a flashback, but she trained it over time and it got stronger. Anyways, she sees Yohei and she finds herself basically sympathizing with him because she feels like he's been in the same role as her in the sense that everyone like poked fun at him for having a weak Geist. And also the fact that while everyone else sees their Geist as tools, Yohei doesn't. He actually treats his Geist like very well and is doing like everything he can to get her stronger. He motivates her rather than talking down to her. Whenever Gobubi like falters or fails at something, he just cheers her up and basically helps her pick herself back up and try again. So because of that, she befriends him. And since she's stronger, she's like, I can take you to some of like the more harder parts of the level of the dungeons. Like on your own, you're probably okay with like the first couple floors. I can get you down to around like the 10th floor at least. And we can just start training up your goblin in that way. And then it gets to a point where like there's like a bet that gets made where no one believes in Yohei. So the student council president bets that Yohei can get his goblin stats to basically match everyone else's Geist stats by the end of the school year or something. And she's also just not a cliche, terrible character. Like, for example, a lot of times you'll either have them be like the damsel in distress, which she's not. She is actually a pretty tough girl in her own right. She has a strong Geist. And she's not just strong, like, in the sense that her Geist is strong, but she's also strong, like, kind of mentally. In the fact that she is one of those people that she doesn't give a crap if other people are, like, bad-mouthing her behind her back. I mean, it does bother her, but it doesn't stop her from doing what's right. Like, so for example, when she realizes that Yohei was being bullied, rather than just being silent and letting it continue, or just telling Yohei, you know, I'll be there, but not really doing anything about it, the first thing that she does when she hears about it is she marches straight to the principal's office and she tells her dad, hey, we have this kid that's being bullied by the class and by his teacher. You need to do something about it. And she gets that whole thing fixed up right away. So I like that in the character. I like the fact that it's kind of taking those cliche character tropes in the sense like the job position, but it's kind of flipping them. Because usually, like, you know, I would see, the student council president is either one of two ways. Either always damsel in distress, which is very rare, or they're the super strong but stoic kind of ice queen character that just, like, you got to follow the rules 100%, constantly kind of like bullying other characters without being a bully, in the sense that, like, you know, bullying them with the rules. And Sakuya is not like that. She is very outgoing, very friendly, but she knows when to be stern when it requires her to be. I also like the character's mom. This is a mom who is obviously cares for her son and is willing to support him. A lot of times in isekai stories that I've read, maybe it's just the ones I end up reading, but I've read tons of isekai stories, and a lot of them, whenever a main character turns out to be weak, either their stats are very low, or their special cheat skill is terrible, or actually cheat skills are never terrible when it comes to the main characters, but it's assumed to be terrible according to everyone else living in that world. A lot of times, like, the parents will, like, be embarrassed or upset or disown the kid or whatever. Like, I've read tons of stories like that. But here it's actually different. Here the mom is actually really supportive of her son and is upset when she realizes that the other kids were bullying him in his Geist. And basically when the president came with the teacher to apologize, she, like, stands up for her kid. She tells him, like, hey, like, you just saying sorry isn't going to cut it. Like, you're supposed to be a prestigious school and here you are mistreating my kid. And when Yohei says it's, you know, it's fine, like, I don't want to leave the school, I still want to continue going, I want to prove everyone wrong, rather than, like, trying to talk him down, she's like, if that's what you want, then I'm going to support you all the way. And she continues to support him. And I like that. I just, maybe it's just because of my good upbringing, but I love seeing manga stories where we have an actual supportive family, where we don't have the cliche, you know, brother and sister mistreating each other, or in terms of manga and anime, doing weird things that brother and sister shouldn't be doing. And I apologize for that siren in the background. But I enjoy when we have, like, family members that actually support each other. Siblings supporting each other, parents supporting their kids, kids supporting the parents. I just, it always just, you know, makes me a little bit happy, because I'm just so used to, especially when it comes to the West, I'm so used to seeing, like, the opposite. And so it's a nice change in terms of, you know, what I read when we actually have supportive family. So yeah, I like that it takes these, what should be cliche tropes that have been populated in a bunch of other manga, especially isekai or, like, this whole, like, fantasy kind of genre, and it's kind of flipped them. So it's like, yeah, you might think these characters are going to be this way, but actually they're not. So that's a really nice take for this series. So it just pretty much becomes the story of this trash mob character who has the weakest Geist, and he's using the game's wiki page to cheat, or at least to get a foot up on the competition in order to raise her stats, level her up, and get her to basically become an amazing Geist. And I enjoyed the series overall. There are some problems with it. One of them being that I feel like it just kind of throws us into what's going. Like at first, it doesn't. I was kind of confused because I thought, okay, is this like an isekai? It's not really doing much to set up the isekai. Like it doesn't follow the basic. Here's our normal character. Look at him being a loser or whatever in this regular world. Oh, here comes Truck-kun. Or here comes the princess to summon him to defeat the Demon King. It's nothing like that. So it's kind of like, okay, is it trying to be an isekai, or is it trying to just borrow some of the traits from isekai, like the whole status screen and stuff like that? It's the latter. I don't think it's actually an isekai. He doesn't get teleported into a different world. Like I said, he's just an NPC that wakes up to the fact that he's an NPC in the game world, which kind of begs the question of, is the hero that we haven't met yet, are they the isekai character, or are they like a player? Are they just like someone gaming in the real world and this world is just their game that they're playing? I guess we'll find that later on. But yeah, the artwork itself is fine. Yeah, not that bad. I don't have any really big complaints about the artwork. It's not like amazing artwork or anything like that, but it's not terrible artwork, especially for something that's, again, I'm going to use the word isekai adaptation, even though it's not technically an isekai. It follows that kind of trope of a lot of other isekais. A lot of manga is based off of isekai light novels and web novels and stuff. The artwork can always be like hit or miss. Sometimes it's actually pretty good if it looks like they're actually putting in effort and stuff. Other times it just looks like they're just trying to cash in on the isekai popularity. This one actually looks pretty good. Story is like nothing all that new. I mean, the character being the trash character, but he wants to be better than what he is. But it's something that, I like. What sells me for this is the relationship between Yohei and Gobubi, which is why I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a romance between the two of them. It does have the harem tag. I haven't really seen anything leading towards a harem at this point in time. Maybe it happens in future chapters. I haven't really seen any romance at all in this. I mean, the closest, I guess, would be Yohei and Sakuya, but even then, there's no hints of romance between them. I'm just going to guess that they're going to end up together at some point, but there's nothing there. Like right now, it just kind of seems like friendship. It kind of seems more like she's just trying to take him under her wing and help him get better because she sees a little bit of herself in him. But it does say harem tag, so I guess we'll see. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't turn into him falling in love with his Geist or vice versa, just because I feel like that would kind of destroy the relationship they have now. Like right now, they have an awesome partnership, especially for a character who doesn't talk. Gobubi is very expressive, and I just like the fact that she's weak, but she's willing to do everything she can to help Yohei get stronger as a Geist user and to just make him proud of her. And in the meantime, Yohei is doing everything he can to get her to be stronger. At first, it seems like he's kind of doing it because he doesn't want people to look down on him. But then later you find out, actually, he doesn't want people to look down on him or her. And he also wants to help her achieve her goals. Like, she wants to evolve up to the next rank of Goblin. And he's doing everything he can to help her on that path. So I like the relationship between the two of them in that regard. I guess more of a partnership than anything romantic. But yeah, there you go. I don't want to spoil everything that's going on. I do recommend checking it out. And then I do recommend not reading the summary on the page. just because it'll spoil what hasn't happened yet in the manga. So, I mean, unless you want to spoil yourself, go ahead and read it. But there you go. There's Geist X Revenant. I, a trash mob, evolved my Geist partner into a beautiful girl and made her the strongest. There you go. Hope you enjoyed. I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can read it like always. And if you got any recommendations for manga series I should check out, let me know. I'm always down to check out new stuff. And anytime you guys do recommend something, I always add it to my plan to read list. And depending on if I have the free time to go through it or not, I'll try to go through it immediately. So yeah, everything you guys recommend always gets added to the list. So it does get read at some point. or it will get rid at some point. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.